as you start a game, you're just thinking, can he get the snap? Can he hand off? Can he just execute? Instead, he doesn't waste any time on wrapping another dimension to his game, showing off those wheels, and picking up some nice yardage.
And he'll take this one inside the 10, down to the 8. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
I think that's the type of run we'll continue to see throughout this game. The snow coming down, I don't expect a lot of big plays to be broken.
The ball on the 8. Still could get a first down technically. 2nd and 7. Ball again on 2nd down. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Breece Hall with his 9th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Jets use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one. Kaimi Fairbairn on for the extra point. Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. But now if they wanted to, they could move the ball up to the 1 and go for 2.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because normally the ball's at the 2 when you go for 2. But if they wanted now, enforce the penalty to the 1. But if they wanted to kick it, right, don't they just move it up?
Yeah, just move it up to the 10.
Right, move it up to the 10 if they still wanted to kick it.
The point after, no gimme in the snow, but it's up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Takes it at the 7. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And the interception on that opening drive winds up leading to the touchdown, so now it's kind of time to start over.
Yeah, it certainly is, and his first throw of the game. But I like the way his guys rallied around him. Oftentimes, the quarterback is the leader, right? He tells everyone what to do. In this case, I noticed his linemen around him kind of patting him, saying, let's go, big boy. You're still our leader.
Quick throw knocked away and incomplete. And this pass defense, they were sensational in the win last week, and they're looking good here so far in this first quarter.
You know, we often talk about how offenses get locked in, and that runs over multiple games where they're really, in that zone. Defenses can be the exact same way, and I think we're seeing an example of it here.
This one complete to Jalen Waddle. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 17 yards is the pickup there for number 17. Just the first quarter, but tackling going to be so important going forward. They've got to limit plays like that.
And that's something when you see it happen early in the game and they don't get him on the ground, you can always tell that they were concerned about it going in. Because I can just tell you, from my days, I remember being in college and worrying all off-season about our season opener opponent, and they had a receiver that could shake and bake with the best of them. I tackled him on the first pass of the game, and the relief was incredible. Ended up having a pretty decent ball game. If I'd missed him, it would have been a long night.
2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I really like what he did there because he took his practice work and converted it to game action because he used his hands, got off the block, worked laterally and stayed to the outside, and finished off the runner for a loss.
And he'll follow his blockers there all the way down to the 23-yard line. Now, the offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted. Second down, here's Mostert again. And he's going to get this down close to a first at about the Jets' 28. After a gain of 5, they'll wind up being about a length of the football short here on 3rd down. They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he's able to pick up the first down here before he goes down at the 26. Well, these two teams met down in Miami earlier this year with the Dolphins winning that one. So they are looking for the sweep here at MetLife. On play action, here's Tua. Getting this out to the flat, Mostert. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And they'll have a 2nd and 1 forthcoming. Now Mostert off the read option. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. He winds up giving a yard back there, and now it's 3rd and 2.
That's a play to take note of there for the defense, I think, in the future. If you're going to try and block him, maybe you get a guard to help double team him and try and steer him out of the play. They should have done it on that snap.
And able to find Gesicki as tight end. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. So that'll go as a 4-yard loss on the play. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
After 7-0 on EA Sports. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. As we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
The last run got 9. That leaves him with 2nd and a yard. Ball again on 2nd down. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Give him 15 yards on that one, and the Jets move the chains.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
On 1st and 10, it's Hall. They find some open field here. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. 63 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here in this first half.
Well, partner, I have to say they called him in the right defense there. Nickel set, 5th defensive back on the field, and they love to run against that because now you typically get a bigger blocker on a smaller defender.
Yeah, because those DBs like you, they want the interception. They're not as worried about the running play, right?
Not at all. And I still remember being in school, and one of my offensive line teammates used to say, boy, I'd love to come downfield and hit you little people.
Good run there. So the completion good for 6 yards, and it'll be 2nd down. Out of the gun, they run it with Hall. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like even if he had opted to keep that, I don't think there was going to be much to gain.
Seemed like it was perfectly defense, and know what they say. Those guys on the other side, they get paid too.
They'll set up to throw. Got his target, Samuel. And the Jets are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Well, they've had a great, impressive drive going here, and that pickup ensures the drive continues.
And not only do you continue the drive, which is demoralizing for the guys on the defensive side of the ball right now, but you make your own defense happy. They're able to get a little more rest over on the sidelines while this one continues downfield.
And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And it'll be intercepted.
Brandon Jones picking it off. And the Dolphins will take over here at their own 14-yard line. Charles, one thing that he referenced to us yesterday was his confidence fitting the ball into any window, but obviously that window was a little too tight, and it was closing in a hurry.
And he was talking to us about having anticipation in making those types of throws. Down near the goal line, I don't think you can anticipate it as much as you need to see it open. You've got to be precise with your throws down here in the red zone. That one goes into double coverage, and he gets picked off.
Here we go.
Play action. Now it's Tua. Blitz coming, and down he goes. John Franklin Myers. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him.
Chalk that one up to bad acting, I guess, because they certainly failed to sell the handoff, and the pressure stayed keyed in on the quarterback. No Oscar awards for this offense, just a loss of yardage.
Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
He'll fire deep downfield for Lamb.
It got his man complete.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45.
That hold coming from the left side of the line.
Hands got caught in the cookie jar on that one, and the flag came out. Penalty against them.
And this third down looking very tough after the holding penalty. Third and long. Tua going to throw.
Got a man. It's Waddle, complete.
And they take this up near the 30 before he's taken down. How about that? They weather the storm of a 3rd and 17 to pick up the first. From the gun, it's Tua. Got a man complete to Cedric Wilson. Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half. Throwing again on second down.
Tua. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Picked up by Jordan Whitehead.
And the Jets are going to take possession as they've got it at the 42-yard line. So consecutive interceptions here early on in this one, and maybe setting the tone, Charles, for a game where the defense really takes center stage.
And don't you think that both offenses are really catching the bit from their coaching staff about avoiding these turnovers that we've seen early? I think both teams are trying to find an advantage. We know that. Can one of them break away and take control of this game?
The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. 2nd and 3. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
They certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Back to throw. And a throw there going to be incomplete.
This defense has certainly played well so far in this game, and the coverage has been tight on just about every throw. Forced a few here so far in this game, and now it brings up 4th down.
Blake Gillikin on to punt now on 4th down.
They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. And this will be taken at the 13. 35 yards that time on the punt. And it'll be Dolphin football.
Okay, right?
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive.
A slim deficit here in a one-possession game. Not much time left, obviously. We'll see if they can march this down the field, at least get 3 and take some momentum into the locker room.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
And I think they'd be well served to take that type of a physical approach against him the rest of the game. He's had his way so far, but on that last one, that worked quite well for the defense.
To throw again on second down.
Tua.
And that is incomplete.
This defense is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. This time they stay on the ground. And this will not get close to the first down marker as he's brought down at the 26. Now the Jets going to use the second of their 3 timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1.
On is the punter Townsend as he gets this one away.
And this will be down just on the other side of midfield. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive.
And maybe a chance for a quick completion and then a long field goal try. We'll see.
That is caught. It's Uzomah. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. They were looking to throw, holding on the big right tackle.
That's real simple, partner. Keep your hands inside in the chest area. You're probably okay. You get it out on the shoulders, get them wide. Usually got to pick up a holding call.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. They'll throw now on the final play. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
So they'll come up after the incompletion for second down. Now back to throw. And that's caught inside the 35.
And he's going to be taken down at about the 33.
So we've hit halftime here at MetLife Stadium with the home team, the Jets, leading this one. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. This snow front that has socked much of the East Coast not going away as we are back to it in the second half.
Takes it at the 7th.
The New York offense taking over for their next possession.
But Charles, for them, pretty good first half on the ground. They had some success running the ball in quarters 1 and 2, and they've got the lead now, a chance to expand upon that lead here with their first drive in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, believe it or not, you and I have noticed that this great game of football has shifted towards pass first, run second. So for me, it's really nice to see some of these teams keeping the ground game as a big component of their offense, and it's working pretty well for them now. And let's face it, they can continue to do damage with it. And in addition, it sets up the pass game really well for them, too.
And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled.
80 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
So second down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40. He'll look to throw.
That's complete. It's Elijah Moore. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 41-yard line. 19 yards the pick up there. Move the chains. So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 41. They'll set up a throw. And he will find his man, Samuel. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That one goes for 24 yards. They'll give to Hall. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Hall again on 2nd down. And this time they were ready for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. A 3rd down now. Those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points. And he's going to come up well shy of the first here as the tackle's made right around the 12. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up 4th down. Fairbairn able to put this one through, and that will extend their lead even further. Well, they picked up right where they left off in the first half. First drive after the break, they come away with 3 and increase that lead.
Yeah, and you just want to keep building on that lead, don't you? Whether it's 6 points or 3 points, take everything you can get, keep maneuvering, keep adding to it, keep making it difficult for them to come back.
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Now their deficit a little wider now than it was at halftime following the field goal a moment ago.
But the goal is still the same because you know they want to come out, establish a rhythm in the second half, and get going. Make no mistake about it, though. Kicking field goals, not in their game plan. They need to get the ball in the end zone.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. Throwing now is Tagovailoa. The dump off to Elliott. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. And they run the option on 2nd down. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. Throwing is Tagovailoa on 3rd down here. And he's got his tight end. It's Mike Gesicki. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Tua sets up to pass it. That's caught by the Notre Dame man. It's Durham Smythe. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. 16 yards, a little deja vu from the previous play where they got 16. Now Tua just going to bat this forward on the end around. And just good downhill running there as he'll take this to the 15-yard line. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. One quarter remains here as the regular season starts to wind down. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. The offense on third down, they've hit 4 of 7. This will be 3rd and 6. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. And this is going to be incomplete.
I think that's a good job there defensively. They did allow them to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let them get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. Fourth down, 4th quarter. Here's Tua. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. CeeDee Lamb with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Dolphins have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th. And in the red zone, I guess this is why you have a guy like that on your roster.
Without a doubt, and if you have him, you use him because he's a guy who's going to win just about every time. I don't care what the coverage is.
Extra point up and good by Sanders. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. That last touchdown has made this really tight. They're clinging now to this slim lead. Second half, they only have a field goal. This offense needs to kick it into gear.
And right now, I'm looking directly at the field general, at the quarterback. Because to me, he's got to take over right now. By word, pumping his team up, and then, of course, by deed with his play. My high school coach used to say that all the time. Laddie, take over by word and deed.
And deed means action.
Exactly.
On first down, right back to Hall. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down. This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this 4th quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. 19 yards there on the catch and run. So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Running left, it's Hall. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. And I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. Hall again on second down. And he's in. Touchdown, Jets. Breece Hall, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Jets will add to their 4th quarter lead. Fairbairn good with the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. The Jets kick team out now to boot this one away. Takes it at the 7. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, they trail by 2 scores here in the 4th quarter. This drive becomes very critical. Now a throw here to his running back. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10. Here's Tua. Finding Waddle crossing the field and bringing it in. And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line. Well, the corner gets a hand on it, but he still makes the play.
And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. 8 more yards this time, coming off back-to-back first down pickups. On second down, Elliott.
And an excellent job of finding the opening as he's got this now all the way down to the 22.
Tua now on first down.
They'll get this out wide here to Elliott.
So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and that'll make it second down. Here's Tagovailoa to throw. He'll get this to his tight end, Gesicki.
And he's going to be marked down just outside the 10. Now a 1st and 10 at the 11.
Tua going to throw. And that's going to be knocked away in the end zone. It's incomplete.
I like the calmness of how he played the ball here. No panic in his eyes as that throw arrived. Tracked it from the moment it left the quarterback's hand, and that's just where he needed to be to knock it away.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Tua going to run again.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown.
Tua Tagovailoa
taking it in from 11 yards out.
And the Dolphins have cut it back within a score.
Sanders now to have the extra point. And this is up and good to make it a 17-14 game. So they got their touchdown, now down a field goal. Here comes the onside kick. And the Jets have got it. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
So it goes as a completed pass, but they lose a full 5 yards. So it's Jets football as we get you reset here. They've got a 2nd down now as they search for a way to get this one to the finish line. 2nd and 15. He finds Corey Davis.
And they'll get this down to the 42-yard line. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first.
The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
On 3rd down, here's Hall.
And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
Someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? Love has been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards.
Here's Hall again. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as they get it with 26 seconds to go in the football game.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Hall on a give up the middle. And a short gain down to about the 33. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. The Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on 3rd down. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the ball game. It's 1st and goal, and a late touchdown at this stage could officially salt this one away. They'll run with Hall. And he gets halfway there from the 6 to the 3 on a gain of 3. Give him 3 on the gain there, 2nd and goal. What a ball game this was. What an atmosphere this was. And the home team getting the late touchdown, getting the victory, and now everybody in this building can file away with smiles on their faces.
And what do real estate people tell us all the time? It's location, location, location. So being at home, that can be a big deal because remember, they were down to their final chance to retake the lead. That home field advantage, I think it helped fuel all what happened for them down the stretch. A huge win.
So for the Jets, it was too little, too late as they finish off the regular season with a mark of 7-10. And by just about all accounts, not the type of year they were hoping to have. Meanwhile, for Miami, they finish up the regular season with a mark of 12-5. And now they'll have to see how the final playoff picture will all shake out.